That's it. Yep. Okay, we're good.
But that's alright.
Oh my god! Yo guys, what is up? Max on a Borderlands 3 video, and today we're going over my brand new Moze build, Butcher Moze. This build is what happens when you ask how much fire rate can you possibly get out of Moze, and the answer is yes. We're getting a 135% fire rate using a Butcher and focusing on as much damage as we possibly get to literally shred through all content in this game. It is so much fun. I hope you guys do enjoy the video. If you do, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, guys, let's get into it. So for the format of this video, we're going to get into the guns and mechanics first, and then we'll get into the skill tree. Now, in concept, this build is very simple. Gun, go, burr. That's about it. In actual practice, this is a pretty complicated build, and I want to explain how we're being able to do this. And the first thing I want to talk about is the class mod we're using, which is the Green Monster class mod. Now, I have never used this class mod in any Moze build on this channel, and for good reason. It is extremely complicated and doesn't work with most weapons, or is not worth your time. However, with this build, we can take full advantage of the Green Monster. Now, the Green Monster stacks 100% increased or added corrosive damage and 100% splash damage. That's right, the Green Monster does what the Blastmaster does, but it also stacks corrosive damage. So while you're holding down the trigger, you are going to get up to 100% corrosive damage and 100% splash damage. It'll look like 75% splash damage or corrosive damage on the dummy, because corrosive damage does less to flesh. But 100% splash, 100% corrosive. Sounds pretty good, right? Here's the caveat. It starts stacking as soon as you pull the trigger. As soon as you pull the trigger, you're going to start stacking. When you pull the trigger again, or if you pull the trigger again, you lose those stacks. So like, if I'm firing, for example, a clairvoyance, every trigger pull, because I have to pull the trigger every time, you'll never stack the Green Monster, even though you're not reloading it, because you have to pull the trigger each time, you're resetting the stacks. For most weapons, you're going to have to pull the trigger multiple times, or you're going to have to end up reloading. On the Butcher, a weapon that you can hold down and never ever ever have to worry about reloading, you can easily stack up this Green Monster up to the 100% splash damage and 100% added corrosive damage. This is why this works, and we wouldn't have been able to do this build until the Butcher got buffed to like never have to reload ever again. So basically, with this build, hold down the trigger of the Butcher, do not tap fire. You lose the bonus if you swap weapons, but it's very easy to stack with the Butcher because you never have to worry about reloading, and because it's not like a Malawan or a Jacobs, you can actually use this thing effectively. Next up, let's talk about the guns and gear. So we're using the Butcher. Now, I strongly recommend ×3 Butchers. You will not be able to sustain a ×6 Butcher on this setup forever. If you wanted to spec into Forge, you probably could, but we're not specing Forge. And the anointment for these Butchers is consecutive hits. Now, we are getting, with our Revolter, which we're going to be using, the Revolter, by the way, gives 40% fire rate. That is part of our total of 135% increased fire rate. Is going to give us 200% shock damage whenever it depletes or we activate our action skill. So you're getting 200 shock damage, 100 corrosive damage, 100 splash, 135% fire rate, and you're also getting fire damage and the damage from your Butcher. So you're getting a ton of elements with this build. It's still recommended to match elements. Shoot Wotan with a corrosive one, shoot Gravelord with a fire one, but all your elemental bases that you really need to do are covered. Next up, like I said, we're using the green monster. Mine's rolled very well. It's not rolled the best it could possibly rolled. I'd rather have like shotgun damage on this thing, but +5 into scorching RPMs, or as many points into scorching, is going to be as best as you can do on this. Next up, we're using the Hyperion Company Man. In comparison, if you can get a really good Hyperion Company Man, which I have here, use that. Use the Hyperion Company Man. If you can't get a really good one, use the Pearl. But you're going to be looking for fire rate, damage, and critical damage, magazine size, area of effect damage, elemental boost, shotgun boost, Hyperion crit damage boost. There's so many things that'll work well for this build, but definitely if you can get a good Hyperion Company Man, that is the best you can do. And then lastly, I've got a low level cloning mining tracker here just so I can throw it and not kill myself. If you do not have a cloning mining tracker, because I know a lot of people can't get one, the epicenter works well. You can use a hex grenade, that works well as well. But the cloning mining tracker, due to the amount of times that it hits enemies and the fact that it does splash damage, is really, really good for healing yourself with Vampire. Next up, let's talk about the skill tree. So our skill tree is how much fire rate and damage can we possibly get. We're going to fire it up, which is something we usually can't get for 25% fire rate. We're going big surplus. Big surplus is huge damage. We want our iron cub to always be on cooldown, so we get this big surplus damage. This is basically like Skagden for non-elemental weapons. Biofuel for some extra health for us. We're going Harmonious Havoc. I'm probably never getting the full bonus of Harmonious Havoc, but just a little bit of extra gun damage is really, really nice. We're going Skagden, Means of Destruction for ammo regen, Toward Cross Promotion, Stainless Steel Bear, Pull the Holy Pin, Vampire, and we're really just here for short fuse. I went too grizzled here because I'm going to be relying on my Revolter for my fire rate and some damage, so it's nice to get Iron Cub back. You're just going to make sure to proc it as soon as you get it and then make it kill itself. Because we're using a grenade launcher, Iron Cub will kill itself, give you that big surplus damage increase. I didn't spec Auto Bear because I've actually been having a lot of glitches with it recently where like the bear just bugs out because of Auto Bear. If you're not having that, you can spec it. I don't think this build needs it because we literally just want our cub to die so that we can get the big damage increases. Next up, Red Tree, Armored Infantry, gun damage, damage reduction, Drowning in Brass is so good for mobbing with this build, and experimental munitions. Munitions not needed. The 15% bonus fire damage that you're going to be dealing is nothing compared to the like 400% damage you're going to get in Skagden or 400 in like Big Surplus. But it is a little bit extra damage, and you know I like damage. And then Green Tree, Cloud of Lead, bonus incendiary damage. I went Summon Match Set and Summon Scrappy. Realistically, I have really good mag size bonuses here. Weapon mag size on my green monster, on my company man. So I'm good on mag size. If you need more mag size to sustain these, which you probably won't, you can put more points here. Or if you have good mag size, you can go more into Scrappy. Just for like the versatility of this build, and if you want to use other weapons on it, this is how I spec. Scorching RPMs for 30% fire rate, 40% critical hit damage. Rushing offensive is our healing, and then some for the road. Once again, this isn't needed with the Butcher, but for example, if you want to use anything else with this build, like a red line shotgun to just like hop out of Iron Bear and spray something with stickies, because while the Butcher is good at bossing, it's not the best bossing weapon. You can use something like a red line. It's pretty versatile spec, and there really isn't that much things that we can grab for us to improve our build. We didn't need Desperate Measures, we didn't need Phalanx Doctrine. These things are just kind of waste, so I did spend some extra points into the Green Tree. And yeah, guys, that is kind of it for the build video. Oh, by the way, if you want to farm Butchers, your best bet is Ludograms. Ludograms in Skywell from Dinklebot. You can farm them really, really quickly. Every time you get a kill, you'll get a Ludogram. Bring those Ludograms to Crazy Earl. At the bottom, you can exchange those Ludograms for Butchers. That is the fastest and best way I have found to get these Butchers. If you want them, Ludograms from Dinklebot in Skywell. Guys, that is it for the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. This build is crazy fun. The save file will be in my Discord. It does silly damage with weapons that, like, realistically, like, Butcher's not the strongest weapon. Like, you know, it's no plasma coil, but the fact that we can take full advantage of the green monster allows us to dish out nasty damage. I'll catch y'all guys in the next one. Take care. Peace.